Coach K has given a lot to Chicago, including 40% of the starting lineup of the Chicago Bulls. Thank you. And now the city is giving back to him with this important honor. In his book, Leading with the Heart, Coach K writes, quote, "I learned that failure is a part of success and that you can achieve the impossible by depending on your friends," end quote. On behalf of his many friends and countless admirers, it is my great pleasure to present the Amos Alonzo Stagg Making History Award for Distinction in Sports to Coach K, Mike Krzyzewski.
Thank you. I got emotional when you're talking about my mom and my dad. And I'm a Chicagoan. I grew up in the greatest city in the world. Tried like crazy to get the 2016 Olympics here. It would have been an easier decision to come back and do it if it was here already. But when we were talking about my mom and my dad and my mom worked in eyesight of the Chicago History Museum as an elevator operator, and my mom worked from 10 o'clock at night till 6 in the morning, so the museum wasn't open. But they'd be shocked that tonight could happen, but they shouldn't be. Because of them, I learned about the dignity of work, which to me is really the foundation of this great city. This is a working city, and it's a city that is dignified as a result of having people from all over the world come here and have an opportunity to work and advance their own lives and the lives of their families. As a result of that dignity of work, I was given the opportunity to attend, I think, the greatest school in the world, the greatest leadership in the world, school in the world, the United States Military Academy, and play for one of the greatest coaches ever. I would not have had that unless my parents, unless I trusted them and loved them and followed their advice. I wish that was done a little bit more today in our society. And my mom never went to high school. My dad only went to 2 years of high school, but they knew, besides the dignity of work, was that education was the way that you beat poverty and you change cycles. And so they made that commitment to me. When I graduated, before I graduated from West Point, United Airlines did a great thing for me. They had hired a girl by the name of Mickey Marsh, who was a stewardess, who lived in Lincoln Park. And I got to know her very well, and we were married on graduation day from West Point, at West Point 44 years ago yesterday. And so as a result of United Airlines, I have 3 beautiful daughters, 8 grandchildren, and a 9th one on the way. So thank you. You don't know the wonders that you do. Forget about those drinks on the plane. At least this one beautiful woman was what I saw. And I didn't see her on a plane, by the way. I met her in Lincoln Park. Along the way, I've had a great life, and I hope to continue to have a good life. But I'm going to tell you one story, and I'm a storyteller. And the best person in my life was my mother. Okay, she passed away in 1996. Today was an emotional day for me. I was able to fly in on a private plane and get here early enough. I have to leave here early to get back, but I was able to go to visit the grave sites of my mother and my father. My dad passed away when I was a senior at West Point at St. Adalbert's Cemetery in Niles. And I went there specifically just to pray for them, pray for their souls, make sure that they're flying high, and but also to tell them thank you. I'm gonna start crying. Yeah, just thank you. You know, thanks for doing what you did. And I then visited my brother, who's a retired fire captain in Chicago. He never went to college. He became one of your public servants for 37 years, and he understood the dignity of work. He never missed a day of work in his whole life, and had lunch with him. And so tonight, I'm accepting the award on behalf of my family. And the story I'm going to say is something, there are a lot of youngsters in the audience. When I was a little punk, 14 years old, and when you grew up in the late 50s and early 60s in Chicago, you're a little punk. And you could actually go everywhere. I mean, I've traveled all over the city. I knew the city. And I grew up in St. Helens Parish, a Polish neighborhood on Western and Augusta. And I was getting ready to go to Weber High School. And the night before going to school, to high school, my mom, again, she never went to high school. She calls me over and she said, "Mike, come over here." And I said, "Yeah, come on, Ma. I got to go with my buddies." No, "Mike, just sit down for a second." So I sat down and she said, "Tomorrow's a big day." I said, "Yeah, I know, man. I'm going to high school." And she said, No, you know, it's a big day. And I want to make sure that you get on the right bus and make sure you're on the right bus. And I said, "Ma, Damon to Armitage, Armitage to Laramie. Division to Grand, Grand to Laramie. I know a few ways of getting to Weber. Yeah, I travel all around the city." And she said, "Michael, that's not the bus I'm talking about." And I said, "Well, what bus are you talking about?" And she said, and this is the best advice I've ever had in my whole life, and I live it every day of my life. She said, "Tomorrow, you're going to start a new life. And the bus that you are on, I want you to make sure that you only let good people on it. And if you think that you want to get on someone else's bus, make sure that they are good people." I have followed that advice religiously. And that bus has taken me to West Point. It's taken me to 5 years of military service. It's taken me back to West Point to coach. It's taken me to Duke. It's taken me to coach the U.S. national team to an Olympic gold medal in Beijing, a world championship in Istanbul, and an Olympic gold medal in London. But you know what? Tonight, that bus takes me to Chicago History Museum. And it's a stop that's as important and as big as any of the others. And it's a spot where I want you to know that every one of the Krzyzewski family is going to get off. And we're going to have a big smile because we're part of one of the greatest teams ever in this city, the Chicago History Museum. Thank you. I would cherish this award forever. Thank you.